Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the Comedy Defect podcast. My name's Winter Phonander, I'm a comedian and the host of this show. If you might tell already, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. It's blocking not just one nostril, but both nostrils. Not very energetic today, I don't know if you can tell. Trying to get everything ready before the impending end of the year. Trying to think of what I did this year, trying to decide if I'd won this year or I failed or learned. How about learned instead of fail? That's better, isn't it? So things are going okay. I've got my presents, most of them. I've wrapped none of them, so I'm going to do that this evening. I hope everyone else is in the equal amount of disarray and mental anxiousness that I'm suffering at the moment. The comedy container is nearly done. I just need to paint it. That's the last thing I need to do. And I can move everything in. I'm on the time limit now. The hourglass is turned over and there's not many grains of sand left in it that I've got time to fix everything. But I'm getting it done. Time for family. Family. Not getting on very well with my family at the moment, but I'm not going to divulge that information at the moment until I feel comfortable talking about it. But that's what's going on. But this is episode 26 with Jon Long. Jon Long is a very funny musical comedian. He's got into the semi-finals of So You Think You're Funny. He has also won third place in the Musical Comedy Awards. He's a very funny guy. He's done open spots for the Comedy Store. He's really doing well for himself. He's got a fringe show that he's taking up to the Edinburgh Fringe 2017 that you'll be seeing him road testing on the festival circuit next year. If you see him on a bill, go check him out. Very funny guy. You won't be disappointed. You're going to really enjoy this episode. If you like this podcast, you can follow us on Twitter. We're there at The Comedy Defect. If you want to follow me, it's at Winter Phonander. If you like this podcast and you want to donate, you can go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast, and donate as much or as little as you want. But if you can't kick something back to us, just leave us a nice review on iTunes or Podbean, because it really helps. A nice honest review. Don't want you to bend yourself out of shape. But if you can't kick something back, I'm also previewing a fringe show. The dates for that will be on my website, which is winterphonander.com. So it's a busy time of year, guys. This is episode 26 with Jon Long, musical comedian, weaponized. He's recently upgraded to a guitar. You're going to really enjoy this one. So this is episode 26 with Jon Long. Enjoy. Jon Long, welcome to the Comedy Defect. How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you, Winter.
Yeah?
Thank you for the tea.
You're welcome.
It's lovely.
What have you been up to?
It's weird, isn't it? I'm trying to pretend we haven't been talking
we haven't
for
been
an
talking
hour.
for like an hour. there's been no gap, but now as soon as I ask you how you are,
Suddenly
it's so tense. Lock it up, man. Yes, and yeah, that's it. Movement. Yeah, we've got to do
you
the.
could never, unless you
work.
recorded secretly, you could never avoid that, could you? The switch.
There is a switch.
Because suddenly you're going, well, people are going to hear this, obviously.
Prejudgment. Just switch the judgment off. So okay, look.
I don't know your listenership, but some people are going to hear this, so I've got to be.
Got to be on point.
Got to stop being just myself.
You got to be the best you can be, John.
Yeah.
Put as much pressure on yourself as possible, so you'll definitely fail this test. Okay, this is a test. This is not a podcast. This is the test cast now.
I work less under pressure, so it's good to.
Okay.
Did you
bring the instrument?
I didn't bring my instrument. I did once. I did local radio for Johnny Murph. Do you know Johnny Murph?
Yes, I do.
Yes, he lives near me, and he was doing a Wandsworth radio local show. He asked me along, and then he wondered why we didn't bring our instruments. I thought that would be a bit awkward to do, like a comedy. Also, all my songs are about sort of sex and things that you couldn't do daytime radio. But Johnny thought it would be all right. But he looked so disappointed when I turned up with no guitar on my back. His face.
Oh,
is it just you and
yourself in your personality? Is this all you've got, John?
I booked the guitar. You were very much the agent for the guitar, like the manager, putting it in the guitar's diary. Yeah. And you've just you wouldn't feel. So sorry if you had the same feeling at the train station.
No, not at all.
Brought his guitar. Have you got one on the couch?
I was about to burn off, but you already had your hand on the handle, so I was like, okay, well, I better let him in, otherwise he's going to lose a limb. and you play the guitar, so you can't lose a limb.
It's really, really valuable to me.
Do you find that more pressure now? Trying to keep your limbs because you played it?
I was so reckless about my arms before I became a musical comedian. I was just resting them near threshing machines.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would just let one dangle near a suspicious-looking animal, and now I'm
cage fighting.
aware all the time. Cage fighting every other weekend, mate.
Yeah.
Now you'll barely see me near a MMA arena.
Yeah, cooking, with like one of those cleavers.
It's the main reason I avoid cooking. Yeah, that's what my girlfriend doesn't believe that, but
just pot noodle. Look, it's pot noodle because I want to keep my limbs. Okay, you have to understand this.
If I lived on my when I have lived on my own. I've subsided mostly on cereal. About 80% cereal.
Oh, God, that's depressing, isn't it?
I know. Growing up, my mum didn't care about food. So food was always like, oh shit, we've got to eat, haven't we? So we'd like rustle us up some food and the thing, and went quickly. And I've just never thought about food ever. So I'm the same thing. As soon as I get I'm like, God, I'm starving. I'm going to fight. And then all I want to do is something that is immediately edible there and then. And cereal is that.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds.
What
Even sometimes
cereal?
Toast is I'm like, I can't be asked. I'm genuinely that bad.
Is that the kind of thing you make it and you leave it in the toast? You go, it's there. I've done it. Like I've put the effort in. I've toasted the bread. What more do you want me to do?
I've occasionally been so hungry and so reluctant to do any cooking that I've managed to put the toast on, but then lost all effort then and just eaten plain toast.
Have you just eaten like bread out of the bag because you can't bother toasting it? It's got like a bag of crisps.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It's low, isn't it?
You need a lot of water with that as well, eh?
I'd die if I lived on my own. I think for too long. And eventually I'd just forget altogether. I'd just be too exhausted and tired to
crying, mopping your tears up with pieces of bread because you couldn't be bothered getting the tissues.
Yeah. Oh.
Sadness.
Yeah.
I'm glad we started on a joyful.
But
moment.
I don't live on my own, and I luckily
have all your limbs still, which is
nice.
Nice. Yeah.
And I do the things I can do, and other people do the cooking.
What was the cereal of choice?
Cereal of choice. I went through lots of different things. I grew up a little while ago because I was spare through rice years.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just thought this isn't sustainable. I'm an adult now. I'm a fruit and fibre man.
It's a sad day, isn't it? It's a sad day. There's the judgment straight away. You walk into the supermarket and go, oh,
you have to walk past all the fun
ones. Don't look at those. You'll hate yourself. Oh, they're sugar puffs. We always like sugar puffs, And
I remember them. Yeah, it's like seeing ex-girlfriends and they're looking fabulous still.
Yeah. And then you go to the fruit and fibre section. But do you get the brand, whatever supermarket's own brand, or do you get the upmarket actual purple fruit and fibre, which is fucking expensive, isn't it?
No, I go for Co-op brand.
Good man, that's what I like.
Same stuff, mate, different package. Like paracetamol, I'm not paying the...
I'm buying my misery cheaper today. I'm going to start my day miserable, but at the same time, economically better off.
I'm going to be miserable, yeah, exactly. I might as well have 70p in my pocket to show for it. I'd also like to point out that the analogy about cereals is not one I actually find myself in relationship-wise. What the reality of my relationship is I walk past all the fruit and fibres and go straight for the sugar puffs.
Okay, because you like now to live. I like that. You're reckless. You're
but in my actual cereal eating life, I'm very much just a fruit and fibre man. Yeah,
young at heart.
At heart. It's I just love
it's
cereal.
Not diabetic,
so quick. I don't know why. If cereal didn't exist, I genuinely wouldn't have survived university. I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. My flatmate's
it's going to go on the biography.
Yeah, it is. There's going to be a whole chapter going.
Just serial thriller.
Going through each one and each stage. My exotic summer flirtation with Cookie Crisp. That is so decadent. Yeah. It's miniature cookies, and I lived off that for about a month or two, and I just thought, can't go on like this.
Like how do you end a day like that? You started so high.
I know.
You started with cookies and Oreo.
I would start and end the day like that.
That's fine.
Like evening meal as well.
Even.
I'm not exaggerating. Sometimes 3 meals a day cereal.
Fair. But would you warm it though? Would you go? Oh, I'll have it cold. I'll have it cold in the morning, and then like slightly keep milk out room temperature, and then in the evening you kind of like just heat that shit up. Like, oh, this is this is like soup now.
Weetabix. You can do that with Weetabix, can't you? Heat up porridge. Now porridge was always too much effort. And even the microwave pack sachet one's too much effort. So I genuinely would go sometimes days without a hot meal. And then I discovered this is my trick to living well and healthily. If you don't hate cooking, is you can buy the soups in a in a plastic container. It's terrible for the environment, but there you go. They're rigid, so they're recyclable, so it's okay. Sort of. Fuck the environment, really. It was short-term goals. And then you get those, and they're different flavours, and they change them and stuff. And then you just buy like mackerel or something like high-protein fish, and then just put the soup. Then you put the fish in, and then you just stir around and eat it.
That's it. Done.
Brilliant. It's a 5-minute meal.
Yeah, nice.
Jamie Oliver has got shit on that particular recipe.
Porridge can be too much sometimes.
Yeah, it's like an obstacle to overcome before you do anything.
That's what I was going to say. It's like totally in agreement. It's like it ruins your momentum of the day. You're like, oh, I'm just going to put the porridge in. Oh, I put it on for exactly the time that it was supposed to go in. Oh, right, now I've got to fucking clean the microwave.
Of course.
Why now?
Yeah, it does have explosive qualities.
It does.
I don't have a microwave at the moment as well, so none of those brilliant shortcut things you can do in microwaves is available to me. Mm-hmm. It's like a baked potato is a no-no in my world now.
It's like, was it an hour?
Well, if you want a good one, 2 hours.
Yeah, you need to put it in a diary, like pre-book that shit into the diary.
Katie makes probably the best baked potatoes in the universe, but they take 2 hours. Mm. And I was just thinking, it reminds me that I think Mitch Hedberg had a joke about it where he said baked potatoes take so long in the oven that sometimes I'll just put one in the oven, even if I don't feel like one, because who knows what I'm going to feel like in 2 hours' time. And sometimes I'm like, I should do. I don't.
It's like a treatment.
Yeah, it's like fuck, I've got that.
You got to have achievable goals. Achievable goals.
You don't want to live your life. Unfortunately, I just don't have the foresight to think ahead that much.
Oh man! Oh well,
But there's always cereal, so it's always fine.
It's true. There's always a backup.
Are you okay? You live here, and it looks actually like you've maintained this house like at a respectable level.
Yeah.
Like you could show people around this house and not feel ashamed.
Yeah. I'm a little bit controlling in everything, like so. That I would have to do that, otherwise, my world would end.
Okay.
And I would be angry about something else. I mean, this is just
keep
one
your
less
mind
thing.
ordered to have things.
This is exactly it, John.
Yeah, it's good. It's not cluttered.
No, that's
where it needs to be.
It has the sort of feel of like a serial killer, really, doesn't it? It's like, oh, you've got what's in this house. This would be really easy to clean if something went bad.
You can bleach this, pretty quick or whatever you need to do.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until just now.
Just
I'm thinking, how many have died? It's true.
Yeah.
But Katie came back.
Oh, yes, she did. Which was good. Yeah,
so
because I'm having you on. That was what I was like. I'm going to have John on as well.
Oh, so shit.
So I can't kill her. I can't kill her yet, but I'm having her back on again next year. No. See how she's getting on.
Yeah.
But then I'll have to have you back on again as well, because you live together.
You have to do a double podcast and get us both.
That's exactly what I'll do.
Right, we'll organise that.
Yeah, it'll be like a big party.
Big party.
Cult.
We'll do that at some point, a double podcast, and then and we'll be laughing about that joke you made about killing us, but there'll be a small part of us going, are we going to die?
Yeah, that's it.
What if he wasn't joking?
Why did he lock the door when I came in? No, I wonder why.
That's true. He did do that.
So what else has been happening with you, John? Apart from coming up to this, getting to this point by just eating cereal. Well done. I mean, fair play to you. That's good. That's good effort, man.
I've also relied on the generosity of others. I come to a sort of bargaining system where I explain how awful I am at it, and then say, but I can do other stuff, and then just sort of you can trade services. So basically, I'll just wash up or whatever.
Okay,
I can do that. I just can't cook for some reason. I've been alright, just doing gigs like yourself.
Yeah.
Still got the old part-time job though, and no car, so quite London-based. Been trying to branch out to sort of little suburbs. And because of where I am in a limited thing, that's meant I've been really concentrating on the old Guildford market.
Oh, that's it. Ka-ching as well. Big money down there.
Of course, they do have a bit of disposable income too, which has just helped. So I've been doing loads of gigs in like Woking, Surrey, Woking, Sunbury, all those little sort of towns around there. So that's been alright. But I need to get a car. And South London's... even if I do, South London would be a ball ache to commute from around the city. Right?
Have you done a test already in the process of learning to drive? Or
I can drive.
Oh, great, man, that's easy then.
I can drive. I can only drive automatic cars. And I haven't driven for 8-9 years. So I drove when I grew up in Lincolnshire. There's everything's very, very spread out, so you have to drive because otherwise you'd have no social life. And then I came to London when I was 18 after driving for like a year and a half, 2 years, and a year probably. And then came to London, and then haven't driven a day since I came here because you just don't need to. And so now I've got I'm probably the most dangerous of everything. In that I have a license that I used for a little bit and really badly, like I had a couple crashes as well. And now I have that license and can drive a car. I haven't driven in it. It would be awful. It should be illegal, really.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I started late with driving. I was like, well, if I get a car now, I'm definitely going to kill myself.
Right.
Definitely. So
how old were you when you learned to drive?
26.
Okay, so that's a year younger than I am now. I think I probably would be a better driver if I'd learnt then than when I learnt when I was 17, to be honest. Did you have a reckless phase still at that age? Because I had a reckless phase. Oh, did you have a reckless phase when you were driving?
I had an eye patch.
You had one eyebrow up all the times when you were driving.
You know, one of those eyebrow rings as well. It was fucking, terrible.
So reckless.
Yeah, it was pretty reckless, yeah.
Did you have a reckless phase?
One side of my face.
Even me as a mild person, I had a reckless phase of driving, where probably in hindsight you think, oh fuck, the amount of people I could have killed. And that's in spread out Lincolnshire where you can do what you want. But did you get that at 26 or not? Are you a bit too mature?
I had a bit of a reckless phase.
You still do?
Sure. Yeah, I had definitely up to that point really. Yeah, around that time I was like, that was kind of the end of the reckless phase really from like.
Do you extend your driving? Were you a mental driver for about 6 months?
A little bit, yeah. Kind of.
So it took you about 6 months to just calm down. Yeah. I think it was like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean,
they're fast now.
In Ireland, there was hardly any guarded checkpoints, so you could get your provisional license and then drive for which I drove for 2 years on.
You drove for 2 years on provisional?
Yeah, and you had to have someone in the car with you apparently, but I never did. And I was working as a stonemason at the time, and I passed my test like the week before I got stopped, and that was the first time I got stopped.
Wow!
And the guard was like, but I was insufferable with the glass. Tunes on.
You had your reckless face.
On, and my reckless face on. I was like, you could just feel the cockiness off of me.
Let me go. Let it go, man. Let me buy.
Totally.
Let me buy. You don't need this.
I just nearly throwing the license at him, his face, there you go. And he was just like...
1 week too late, motherfucker.
Yeah, totally. That was a week ago, you'd have had me. Today, I win.
Gosh, yeah.
It's great.
There you go. I think it worked out fine. Can you be arrested in retrospect now that this is evident?
No, fuck them. Sorry, they can't get me now. You've from Lincolnshire?
From Lincolnshire.
Are your family all up there?
No, it was kind of. I moved around quite a bit. Lincolnshire we stayed in for probably the longest though, and that's the last place we stayed because my dad was in the Navy for a bit, and then he kind of left when I was about sort of 10. So then we settled for a bit. But so Lincolnshire, there was no family there really, and everyone sort of moved on. My sister's still there, so I go occasionally, and I do occasionally do gigs there, and it's quite good because it's near where I grew up, and it is such a cliquey environment that I think the guy kept getting me back. Because for a while it was the best gig I could get, and I think he just got me because as an MC I could go, where are you from? Oh, Surfleet. Oh, you probably know the older, whatever, boring Surfleet, Gosberton rivalries, like tiny village idiosyncrasies and stuff. Yeah. So that was quite fun to do. Never get that chance again.
I know that place. You know that place too. It's shit, isn't it? Yeah, it's totally shit. Yeah. Awesome. It's great.
And I was worried the first time I did it because I was like, I think I know this place, but I haven't been there in 7 years, 8 years. So things are going to be totally different. I got there and realised, no, it's exactly the same, obviously. And all of the references are the same, and all the same sort of thing about Donington is still exactly the same, and Quaidring's not changed. So that was where I'm from, these really little tiny villages. But then from 18 to now, so actually I think as of this year, London, or next year, London will be the place I've lived the longest in my life. So technically it will be London, I guess.
Do you have a lot of friends back in Lincolnshire?
No,
or they moved on now?
All my sort of friends, and it's kind of a place where, well, certainly, I don't know about you, but in school there was the different groups, and you could kind of tell by looking at them which ones were going to stay and which ones were going to go. There was the group, people separated already at school. You guys are going to stay here and work in a job a mile from where you were born and stay there forever. And be estate agents and have a lovely, comfortable life here, and your kids will go to the school. And already you could see us all separating. So our sort of friendship group all just went to different parts of the country as soon as they could. So there's some in Sheffield, there's some in whatever, some in Ireland, some in Scotland, some Yeah.
Do you do tours and visit them or anything?
Not really. I'm really bad at keeping in touch with people. They're all Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook.
It's a guy thing, though, isn't it? Really, it's like fuck, we're like shit.
I keep a couple.
You're live. Yeah, you're live. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Bye.
There's the guys that I was in a terrible band with. Well, not terrible at the time, but
all right,
terrible
okay.
in hindsight.
Here we go. Right. What was the band?
Oh god, they were terrible. The name is so awful that usually you can just say the name and it doesn't matter because you can't hear the music, so you can't judge it. But even the name's awful. I think they were called the Innuendos, which is an awful name for an indie band, and I just couldn't think of a name. And in hindsight now, since I've not been in bands, all I can do is think of awesome names for bands. And forever I have to go, the Innuendos, we were called. It's terrible. But we were awful. So I'm keeping in touch with them because we're bonded by the experience of being in that terrible band. And sort of friends with the other sort of groups who are bands as well, but not as much as our little one. So I keep in touch with them. One's in Birmingham, one still lives in London, and the other one is in Lincolnshire. I don't keep in touch with as much. And like them two, and then like one guy from Westbourne who I'm still in touch with, and that's pretty much it.
Was it the band life of misspent youth sort of thing? Yeah, we're rocking out,
mate. We did a tour once.
Yeah.
Of course, all the big names stopped on the tour. I'm sure you're wondering. So we started Spalding, that's our nearest town, obviously.
Where the balls come from?
Unfortunately, that's American Spalding. Spalding, Lincolnshire, is home to... it has been... Its only claim to fame on Wikipedia was that it was the first place the barcode was used in this country. And it was trialled. And clearly they thought, let's trial this in the most tiny, backwards place that still roughly has an infrastructure.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's a Wikipedia page, only interesting about it. Although it was in the newspapers this summer a lot because there was 2 big murders there. You might have heard of in the news. One was these 2 13, 14-year-old couple who killed one of their dinner lady and their daughter in their sleep as part of this weird ritual, and then stayed up all night fucking watching Twilight. That happened in my hometown, and basically nothing happens there anymore. So people are going, all these kids are going fucking mental. Yeah. Also, then this guy.
People need a hobby, don't they?
They do need a hobby, and Twilight, sex, and vampires and ritual killings is a hobby, I suppose.
Well,
it's a last resort, but hey, once the ice rink closed, there's nothing
to
do.
There's a problem.
Crime rose as soon as there was something like that, like the leisure centre closed and everything. All the crime rises. It always happens. Yeah. And people are like, I wonder why. I was like, give the kids something to do.
Exactly. That's it. Have
you seen Biker Grove? Give them Biker Grove.
Exactly.
And there was another killing there as well.
Another killing there.
Yeah, there was a guy this summer. There was a guy who was in my year at school, right? Luke, heart bless his poor fucking guy. He was in my year at school. I didn't really know particularly well. He was quite quiet guy. He was lovely. His father and killed his mother and his sister, and just because she wanted a divorce, and he went mental. And I guess her daughter happened to be there when he confronted her, and so him and his brother are left survivors to this day. So it was in the news twice. No one's ever heard of it, but then this summer it is the summer of death.
Wow,
capital of England.
2016.
And there was a murder near my village when I was growing up as well. Between an argument between 2 Polish field workers, and one of them just stabbed the other one.
Wow! In
our tiny little village, it was like growing up in midsummer. It was mental.
So your dad was in the Navy. What was he in the Navy?
He joined when he was 16, as soon as he could, and he was just I don't know what the equivalent of private is. I guess seaman. Okay, they call that. I don't know. Right. I'd like to say my dad was a seaman, but I don't know what the term is.
We're probably seaman. Well, we're seaman at one stage. Hey, the boss.
We have nailed it.
There's more in that. There's more in that. There is.
Yeah, that's what he said. There's more in that. It's still coming.
Yeah.
I told you. I knew that could be it. So he was base level. Started with the base level. Worked his way up to officer, and then he was. I guess he was just sort of doing office work there by the end, as they sort of end up doing once you've done a few. As long as if there's no wars and you've kind of done a bit of stuff out in the field, they just put you in an office and do admin. Yeah. And he started down that road, and then he got premature arthritis in his hips, so he's got 2 fake hips, my dad.
Okay.
Apparently, it skips generations. So.
Oh, that's good. You're lucky, mate. You're lucky.
I don't know. Apparently, coming up to my age, he was already getting it. So he got it when he was early 30s. So they said, you can't really, because you've still got to do certain drills and things. So they gave him quite a nice sort of early retirement thing, and gave him training, and then he left. Then and we were free to not move around after that. We lived in Belgium and then Scotland, different places like that. And then, yeah.
Can you speak French?
No. Apparently,
Flemish?
I think it was it was on a base. It was on a naval base, so you had all, like, American kids and British kids and whatever, all the different kids living there. So you couldn't go to any kind of school. They had a school that was split into quadrants.
Right.
And like by the middle and bisected, and each section was a different language. So we had but it was one big school, but it was like the English section, and it was like fences between them all.
Wow.
And the English kids being kids and the French being kids. And they could play sometimes all together, but they went into their separate bits. So I didn't need to speak any French, but unfortunately.
But your mum, she was, what was she?
She's Scottish. She lives in Glasgow, which is outside Glasgow, with her fella, and yeah. So I was born in Scotland. So technically, if everything goes fucked in this country, and Scotland seems like the sort of socialist utopia that everyone thinks it might become, if the weather was nicer, I might just move up there. Every single time I go to Edinburgh, I think I could live there.
Easy.
But then I've never been to Edinburgh, and it's not the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So I don't know if I get there and go, I've made a terrible mistake. Oh, shit. So the weather that we had at the Fringe is the best weather we have. Right, shit. Okay. Yeah. And I think we underestimate quite how difficult Scottish winters can be. And I vaguely remember them from my childhood. Going, oh, yeah. No, that's tough going. Well, you're from Ireland, which is...
West Cork.
West Cork. West Cork is not... It gets a
fair
bit of weather.
It gets warm rain, yeah, that's
warm
it.
Rain,
in the summer, nice warm rain.
It's rainy and windy, but it is not as cold like far as Scotland, right? Yeah. I'm going to hopefully do a gig in Cork in the new year.
Oh, where?
It's not organised by a guy called Nilo Rourke. I don't know if you know him.
Right.
A young guy. He doesn't.
Yes, I do actually.
Yes.
Glasses.
That's
And that's his name. That's what Peter's friends call him.
Defining
Glasses. That's what they call him. I mean, we're close.
Mugged by a rat. Mugged by a rat, and that's his sort of one of his bits. I always remember about him. But he's got lots of good bits. But he's doing a gig he's from Cork as well, and he's doing a gig over there. I don't know where it is. It's not the club.
Is it like that? There's one. There's
the
City
club,
Limits,
which is run by Razor Man.
and
there's a few other things.
Yeah.
It's not those. It's like a independent night. He's going to kind of organise, but it will have Tony Law, I think, headlining. So it'll be a good.
Great, man.
And yeah, I just told him I wanted to go over. Do gigs over there, and it just happened he was organising one because, my uncle lives over there now.
Oh yeah,
so I'm going to go stay with him and do it
in Cork.
Oh,
that's great. What part? In the city or?
He lives in the city. He got a job. He works for what do they call Amazon.
Yeah.
Obviously are based in Ireland now.
And you, because of tax haven, and you've also got Apple, which is based there too.
Right, so they get massive tax breaks.
Massive.
Is that why your economy before the obviously collapse had that wonderful? For like a year or two, where everyone was going, "Whoa, Ireland is the king of." Oh shit! No, we're all fucked.
Yeah, we're all fucked. Apple is not, and Amazon aren't really helping that much. They're just like, "Oh, no tax, okay, thanks, guys," and that's all they're holding on to, really.
Yeah,
and you've got
not helping at all.
Yeah, you've got like I think you've got Pfizer down there as well, which is near near Ringaskiddy, I think. And then you've also got like. Well, that's it. The rest was building and farming, and it's fuck all, really. It's not. That's why it went plummeted. But
it's like having two rich friends watch you go through a hard time and go, "Oh man, thanks for letting us crash at your place when we're in the city." Take care. We've got to go back to the grind.
That's exactly it. But yeah, so you've been.
We appreciate. Stay on the couch, buddy. So sorry. Mortgage payments. Anyway, where's my Bugatti?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm just going to use your clothes to polish the car with as well. That's the sort of thing.
Oh, was this your last T-shirt? I'm so sorry. I thought it was a rag. Because you look homeless. Yeah, probably.
It's become a laundry now, isn't it? It's become just a laundry for money for overseas companies. Well, let's start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. When did you start comedy? When did you get into it?
I got into it coming up. It was 4 years in May. This is my first solo stand-up gig. So I wanted to get into comedy, but I was a bit too. I didn't have the balls to do it yet, sort of thing, when I left university. So I started just writing, and I just thought I wanted to be a writer. Mm-hmm. So I started writing a podcast with a mate of mine, and I said, "Could I?" One of the only people I stay in contact with, one of the 4 people I stay in contact with from school. We both like the same sort of comedy, so I said, "Could we write this thing, and it will be every month we have to release it. We'll give ourselves an arbitrary deadline, and it has to be like essentially a 22, 23 minutes radio show like that you would have on BBC that we've made ourselves. But it's basically me. I got into audio editing and stuff. So it was a sketch show with just us two doing it. But it was all written, and I made sure everything was formatted right. And I basically wanted to learn how to format and write. And so I learned the BBC format scripts and stuff, and we wrote it. He kind of came along for the ride a bit, and it was mainly just me doing it. But it was brilliant. So we really enjoyed that. And there's some salvageable moments in them, but they're pretty awful. But it gave me stuff where you had to write an episode every month. So it was just getting you to think about it. And at the same time, I was playing in bands. There was a girl at my university who was a really good singer-songwriter, and she was doing really well. But then they were saying, "You're just on a piano. We can get you bigger gigs, but you need like a band." And she was trying to be, because she didn't want to get any session musicians in because she was a bit cool. She was an art school kind of girl. So she just got her mates. So she got me, a boyfriend on bass, and this guy on drums who was just a mate of hers, who later turned out had drummed for the band Alabama 3, who were the ones that did the Sopranos theme tune that woke up this man. So he turned out actually to be a really old session musician, but just a mate of hers down the pub who said, "I play drums." And then it came out. He was an incredibly successful drummer. And he basically made us a band and taught us how to be a band, and it was brilliant. We were just doing that, but she would get booked into jazz clubs, and they would do cabaret nights, and they would have comedians on. But because they weren't in the comedy world, they were like a Ronnie Scott's bar, they were just getting awful comedians, because they were going to, I guess, the equivalent of Comedy Collective and going, "We just need this comedian," and people going, "Yeah, me, I'm really good," and them going, "Yeah, okay," didn't know anything about them, so couldn't check them, and these people coming on, and a few nights there was some howlers. We were all sitting there going, "Holy shit." Some guy doing really, in a nice kind of Ronnie Scott's bar, doing open mic level paedophile jokes, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck!"
Getting everyone on board, nice, warming up the crowd nicely.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
And then we would come on and do some
happy stuff.
artsy jazz. We were at the bar. It was a really cool, family-run bar. And I was chatting to the woman who ran it, and she was saying, "I don't know what to do about these comedians. Do you know any comedians, John?" And I went, "Well, funny you should mention, I'm actually in a double act, which this podcast." And we'd done one gig to our mate's poetry night at university, which was to our friends basically, and we had a video of it. And I said, "Oh yeah, I do comedy stand-up, and I'm a double act as well." And she went, "Oh well, you come next week and you can do if you do the 10-minute spot, or you could do 2 5-minutes in between the music acts." And I went, "Oh yeah, sure." And then it went, "Oh fucking hell!" So I did actually start musical comedy because I wrote a song, is the only thing I had, and I did 5 minutes of stand-up. And the 5 minutes of stand-up was pretty bad, but observational stuff. And the song actually went down really well every time. It was about 50 Shades of Grey, and it was really hack, but it went down really well. But off the back of that, I started doing open mic gigs, and I brought my guitar one time, and some guy went, "Oh, you're not a musical comedian, are you?" And I simply went, "Oh no, that's just from my band I'm in." And they went, "Oh, right." And then I just did 5 minutes of stand-up, which was just okay. And then from then on, I just didn't bring the guitar, because I thought, from that one cunt saying, "You're not a musical comedian,"
just crushed your self-esteem and confidence.
I just assumed that cool people didn't do that, the good ones. And I'm a complete and utter comedy nerd, so I knew better, but I just all went, "Oh, guess nowadays it's not cool."
Yeah, it's nice though, guys. I'm sorry. I apologise for me wanting to do something creatively. For me.
I know, play to my own strengths.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it for about 2 years.
There's a story as well, because the last time I saw you, actually the first time I met you, it was in Edinburgh, wasn't it? When we did that compilation show.
Yes.
And you were doing a bit. No. It had something. It definitely had something. You're just going through, because I'm trying
to remember what I was doing.
You're going.
I was drinking back then, so I can't remember anything.
You're drinking, and you're going through. Like a little drink, mate. You like a little drink?
Oh yeah, shit. And then getting someone to say...
and it kind of worked, to be fair.
Because then I should explain, what was the punchline there? I say, "Do you like a little drink?" And then the person would go, "Yeah, I like a little drink." And then go, "Here you go." And then pull out one of those miniature whiskey bottles and go, "Here you go then."
Likes a little drink.
And then we've done that a fair few times. Oh my god, it was improvised a bit.
Yeah,
but very different to musical.
But very different now. But you went to. Sorry, I didn't see the pain.
No.
No, I'm not trying to stab you here. I'm not trying to knife you. There you go. How's all this? Just deal with this, John. Oh no, my world is collapsing. No, I'm not trying to go at you. I'm just saying because I want because you started doing observational stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you went to musical stuff. But there's a story behind the musical thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to you about it before. What happened? So you started doing observational stuff, and then what happened? You had to do stuff for some night.
Yeah. I was doing it. It was about 2 years of just doing stand-up. It was just okay. trying everything and nothing really working. So at that pace, trying improvisation stuff and it being okay. But then, it was a night where it was a Swapsy. It's called Swapsies, it was called. And it was for like an open mic comedy night. And they would just get a bunch of... They do themes every now and then. And there was various sort of ones. It was one of these ones at 30 Dicks, in the part of Liverpool Street. So it was always the cokeheads and the heroin addicts. It was quite good fun.
Good crowd.
Yeah. It was a bit cliquey. And I got a bit stuck in that clique for a long time. But what they would do, their cliquey nights they would have was these sort of themes, and then everyone would come. And a huge audience of open mic comedians would come suck each other off, metaphorically. But they was doing this. It was the one really good one was the Swapsies one, where the guy took everyone and just paired people up together. And he said, "You do something with this, you do something with that." And it was brilliant because actually it got you to think about completely out of the box. And I got paired just by luck because I was the guy's favourite at the time. He was pairing me with the best name he could, doing me a favour. And the guy was Jay Foreman, who was brilliant. He's a musical comedian. But I guess the idea was the guy didn't happen to know that I could play music, but he was quite lucky. So I turned up and he said, "I guess I'm going to try stand up for the first time because I don't want to do any music just for this challenge." And I said, "Okay, well I'll try music then." And so he was really good, Jay. We did have time. Basically, he'd go, "Okay, well, what bits have you got or you're thinking of doing?" And I gave him a list, and then he went through and told me which one would be the best one to put to music. So he went through and I had this story which actually happened about my job where I was working in a recycling centre and a big dildo went past on a conveyor belt while I was in the middle of a tour with all these old ladies, and one of the people picking out grabbed it and lifted it into the air and was like, "Oh fucking hell, look at this," and shaking it. It was huge and floppy, and they were all there like wondering what the commotion is, and I had to explain to them what it was, or try to, and some of them knew and some of them didn't, and it was.
And some of them probably just wanted to see you squirm with it as well.
Definitely.
Let's see how this nice looking boy, he's young, and he's all his grannies. Let's just see how he explains this. I mean, because he's probably looking at us thinking, that these are the same age as my gran.
Yeah,
this is how I'm going to describe it. Yeah.
And I swear they play with that dynamic. Yeah, they definitely know more than they cotton on sometimes when they're doing that. "Oh, would you mind explaining it to me?" Yeah, probably did a bit of that as well. Agnes, bastard. And she, and that happened, and so I told it. He said, "That's really funny. Does that sort of thing happen a lot?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do make that a song, make that story a song." And that was really good because a song's good if you can get a game, and the game very quickly became things that you should know better about recycling. And so I just did a few examples of those, put it together really quickly, like in about half an evening, and just and then did it the next day, and everyone was like, "That's really good. You should do that. Keep that." And I was like, "Okay." And it's still not the best thing I do, but it's the most successful thing I do still.
It's great because it gets everyone involved as well.
It's got a sing
along. Exactly. Sing-alongs are great.
And it's got a bit of a device in it that helps. It's good for opening because you get people going a bit and things. From then on, I just had a ukulele at the time. It was the only thing I had, instrument-wise. I used to carry that round. And also, if you only got one song, you don't want to take around a guitar. Just bring around the ukulele. And then after a while, I wrote a second song. And then was like, okay, got the ukulele. And then after a while, I realised I was doing as much songs as I was doing stand-up. And then people started saying to me, I started just hearing people talk about ukuleles and their hatred of them. Have you picked up on this?
Yeah.
It's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a thing.
People hate it. Because it represents something. It represents people being... There's a certain type of, I guess, I'm a bit kooky and I'm changing the lyrics of a song in a very obvious way to say dick instead of...
Yeah, because there's people that play the guitar badly and there's people that play it well, and if you play the ukulele well and you have great lyrics, what the fuck? It's still going to be great. It's who's playing it, it's not that. Don't hate the tool. It's like blaming the tool, not the person. It's like, I'm sorry that I broke the television. Well, I tried to fix it with a hammer. That is why it's broken. It's me, not the hammer. It's not the hammer's fault.
Yeah, exactly. But for some reason, the comedy community hates that hammer. It's because they can't. Well, that's true because they've seen so many shit people. Yeah, and it's just tarnished. And after a while of denial, I was into that "say you think you're funny" thing, and probably too late on because I think you're only meant to enter if you've done it a year. And I was going about 2 years, 2.5 probably, way too late to do it probably, and still only got to semi-final because I was drinking a lot when I was doing stand-up, and when I started doing music or comedy. Coincided. Oh no, it was just after I stopped quit drinking. And when I quit drinking, it felt like I was starting again a bit. I was like, I'm actually nervous now. I've never had to deal with nerves before. Right, okay. And then I started going, I've been doing this all wrong, turning up late and drunk and unprofessional. So I built up no good favour. As far as I could tell, people would see me. A few people thought he could maybe do something, but who would book him now? There's nothing there. So I was starting from scratch, really, in my mind. So I thought, I'll enter this competition, I'm a new actor. And thank God I didn't get to the final, because if I'd been reviewed, I've seen it since, and the scorn that all of the major reviewers have for ukulele. They all just start with, I should say that I hate ukulele comedians. And my girlfriend, who used to play the ukulele as well, Katie is obviously her on, she was in the semi-final for the Funny Women, and she got a wild card. She didn't end up going into the final, but she got the wild card on the night. She did brilliantly. And the woman came up to her and said, not as in as many words, essentially, like, not that you would have won if, but she said, you did very well. I mean, my thing is, I just hate ukuleles. So, as much as I wanted to like you, I do hate ukulele. And so the woman who judged that whole competition told her that. Yeah. And we had all this stuff come into us, and we just both sort of thought, you can't maintain this. So Katie still uses it occasionally, because she hasn't used it in ages. She now uses it to make a joke at the top of her set, and that's it. I just bought a guitar because I just thought, fuck it, I'm not gonna. Really, I just can't
get judged straight away. You got to get past that barrier.
Yeah,
but it's like when you hear something about the Tube, right? Or maybe a character comic. But if the person's taken it somewhere where you never thought that it could possibly go, that's still an original bit. It's not hack or a character that's like some sort of archetype. But they've taken it somewhere. They've made it their own. Those songs are great.
It's just a little hurdle you don't have to get over suddenly. People just because I was getting a lot of comments along the lines of people going, God, when I saw the ukulele, I thought you were going to be shit.
Yeah, but sometimes at the same time, it lowers their expectations, and then you go, oh yeah, uppercut.
I remember really surprising people with it, because people went, oh, okay, it wasn't, you don't get that anymore. Suddenly there is more expectation when they see a guitar. But I still got sort of a slightly comically undersized guitar, because it's slightly smaller, so it's 3/4, so it is a bit slimmer. Also, just for a practical reason, it is limited, the ukulele, because it's 4 strings, it's tiny, so it can't generate much volume. You play it quite high up, so sometimes the mic picks it up, but generally in a big room, it's almost silent. You can't hear it. And it goes out of tune really easy. It's a very unreliable instrument. So there is practical reasons as well. And you get a guitar, you can just plug it in if you need to, and whatever. And you can do more things. So now I'm trying to experiment with going, okay, maybe do a jazz song and a blues song, so that the theme of the song can be reflected by the type of music, whatever. But you couldn't have a ukulele because everything has to be ding, 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 ding. It's a bit limiting.
You say you did your podcasts. Are they still available online, or?
Yeah, I think maybe, but I'd be loath to promote them.
Right.
Because what's really interesting?
What was it called?
It's called Long and to the Right, which was his name was Mark Wright, and I'm Jon Long. So they used Long and to the Right was our double act name.
Not really. You went with Innuendo for your first.
The first few series, the band. Gosh, Mark wasn't in that. He was in a separate band called Plasticine, who were actually very good. Who once supported the Automatic, and that was their claim to fame. Which in Lincolnshire made them quite the buzz about town.
Did you? So you did that, but did you have what was the name of any of your songs that you had? Was there any like climbing name that you had for Innuendo?
Oh, the Innuendos.
Yeah.
Some of our songs were they were kind of piss takes, a lot of them. So there was a lot of songs with riot in them for some reason at the time. There was I Predict a Riot by the Kaiser Chiefs, and there was another song about all these different things about riots, and then we were into the Clash, or we listened to White Riot, and so it was kind of a joke. We did a song called Riot, why not? It was called Riot, why not? In a really fucking ridiculous way, and it was a terrible way. Things are kicking off, but it was kind of piss takey. So that's one of them. Riot, why not? Riot, why not? That was one of them.
Right, why not?
That was an awful name. I'm trying to think of them. They're all terrible names.
so you do you still work in the recycling centre?
Oh, internally cringing. I do, yes. Yeah, I was there today. It's really good. It's because it's just a part-time job.
You just walk in and like, oh come on, something else today. Come on, we had a
deal. Nothing since that.
Oh really?
But I think I've plumbed the depths of it. The occasionally, well, do you know the thing about it is stuff happens there that is remarkable. But more often than not, it's horrifying and shocking rather than funny. Stuff that if I talked about would make people very uncomfortable.
Animals and
kind
stuff.
Of cool. Worse.
Oh.
I mean, stuff is kind of cool in terms of some of the stuff, and then it becomes horrifying because obviously then humans become involved. But yeah, there was a horrible incident one day where we just came to work and there was just loads of police everywhere. We were wondering what happened. And the lady tried to tell us. She went, well, basically what happened was they found a woman. They found CCTV footage of a woman throwing her baby in the bin outside of a hotel because she'd gone a bit mad and had too many and didn't know how to deal with one of them. So just chucked it in the bin and said that I don't even know if she had a plan, but she'd just done this. Now what happens in London, and it's happening more and more in the country, is nothing gets sent to landfill anymore.
Right.
We don't have the space for it. So everything goes to the sort of Scandinavian model, which is energy from waste plants, so it all gets incinerated.
Right.
So all of the general waste, and we're getting like 1,000 tonnes a day, so we're processing it quickly. 1,000 tonnes are coming in, we're sending it out to this incinerator, it's getting burnt. If you don't get something within a day, it's gone. And these incinerators, they don't leave dental records, they don't leave nothing. They leave. You can get the steel from it with a magnet underneath, but nothing remains. So it's remarkably easy these days to get rid of evidence if you know what you're doing and you know which boroughs to dump in London.
Good to know, John.
Exactly. I have access to that incinerator.
I knew there was a reason I got you on this podcast.
I genuinely feel like I could really be an incredibly helpful assistant in a murder. I never would, but God, I could be useful. Just if you want to get in contact, guys. No,
I'm on Facebook.
I'm
Twitter.
massively underused.
Yeah.
But then, so it was a horrible day when they just had to tell us that the police were trying to go through these containers, and then they after a while they could only narrow it down to 7 of these containers it could possibly be, and if at all, and it probably wasn't. And each one of those containers is so packed full that it would take months to go through each one. So she was the first ever example of a woman convicted of murder with no body.
Wow.
Because they just went, fuck it, well, we've got the evidence, you're going to prison, so they changed the... It's going to be one of those ones that get studied by law students. But it was a fucking horrifying day. They went, there was a baby, and you walk through work going, a baby came through.
Yeah, it's pretty easy though, isn't it? It's pretty easy to get rid of people now.
It is, and we often get police, might say, if they see CCTV footage, they find, he dropped the murder weapon in that bin. If you didn't get that bin if you didn't find that within a day,
gone.
There's no way of getting that.
Great. I mean, in a way, if you wanted to... not that I want to do anything like that.
No, but I mean, that's why there's all these Scandinavian horror detective things happening at the moment, because it's their model and they've had it for a while. So maybe now murder's got so easy over there that people have made a bit of an art form of it now. They've got all this. So maybe we're going to get some excellent Broadmoor style. We're going to get an influx of them in a few years. So there's silver linings, I suppose.
Yeah.
David Tennant's going to get some excellent work out of it. And that's going to be lovely. And we're finally going to see Eddie Redmayne in a kind of gritty role that we've all been waiting to see him in. So it's you can't take the rough with the smooth.
So what else do you do then, John? What else do you do to decompress now, apart from doing the comedy?
I'm pretty obsessed. Everything's sort of comedy related.
Is that your thing?
I think I'm like you in that, totally... I was meandering around going... And I didn't have to do it long, because I found comedy quite quickly, but I was just going through in my mind all the different things my life could become, and what jobs I could do, and my sort of prospects, and what kind of paths I could take. And every single one of them, I just went, fuck, ugh. And then comedy was the only one where I thought, that would be brilliant. But it was... And as soon as I started doing it, I was like, right... As soon as I stopped drinking and went, actually, I need to stop fucking around. I need to make this. You need to work hard. You can't do 2 gigs a week at the same open mic night, because you've got to really put the hours in. And I just found the job I'm in now, which is part time. It's 5 days a week, but I'm done by 2 or 3. Sometimes later. Today was a bit later, but most of the time done by about 2. Then you have the afternoon to yourself before the gig. So whatever. I'm in that job and I'm thinking, right, this is perfect. So I just went, I'll write off the next 5 to 10 years. I'm just saying, I'm willing to put those many years towards doing it. So just everything is a bit obsessed towards... Because I do want to get there quickly. So because I can't go around the country, I'm compensating by just doing lots of gigs.
Been doing open spots at the Comedy Store, haven't you?
Yeah, they're very, very... They book you maybe once a year, kind of thing.
Still, on the CV.
Brilliant.
The semi-finals you said you got to... Was it So You Think You're Funny?
So You Think You're Funny got semi-finals?
Yeah, semi-finals. And you got the open... You're doing open spots at the Comedy Store. Well,
yes.
Happy days.
Yeah.
I mean, in front of those fucking rooms, I mean, shit, those are the... I mean, you did the Gong Show, right, to get through.
You have to win the Gong Show, or, I mean, they also... There's, if you can get to the final... I know a couple of people that have gotten to the clap-off bit a couple of times, and they just said, hey, you can come and do an open spot. You don't have to win it necessarily. But Yeah, which is tricky because that system benefits some people more than others. I think it benefits me a little bit because if you're musical and you can still actually they don't like bad music. A lot of people told me don't do music stuff, but anyway, that's good to do. I'm doing all right. And musical comedy awards was good for me as well because that's musical comedy, so you get judged just on musical comedy. That's a good one.
You won.
I didn't win that one. I came third in that one, but I won the audience favourite thingy. But it's a small little thing, but it's brilliant because what it does is it gives you access to people go there to look for musical comedians. So people that are willing to book musical comedians go and you go, okay. And I think being a musical comedian helps me personally. I think you're right because you're Irish, so I think because there's such an oversaturation of comedians, if you're a booker, look at your choices these days. You're spoiled for choice, and so what you want to do in your mind is you're going to pick. You're going to go for a variety or whatever. So it just helps to be in a variety that is slightly less. And unfortunately, I'm in white, male, straight, non-determinate accent from the age of 20 to 30. It makes up about 70% of the open mic scene, it would seem. Do you know what I mean? And you would get sick of watching too many of them. So it helps to do music, I think, because I'm not one of those anymore. I'm a musical comedian. We're like our own race. We are our own subspecies. Yeah. And I think it's good. Some people get a bit of flack for it, but there are plenty of promoters who realise it's quite good to break things up a little bit. And so it is useful.
Are you doing the Fringe this year?
Going to the Fringe, yes.
Oh, sorry, the school year this year.
It is, isn't it? School year. I love that. Yes, this year, you're quite right. It is a school year, isn't it? And it ends with... And it feels like years, in the way that the comedians break down. You think of people as being older than in the year below, don't you? And age ceases to be a thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I've been talked to by people younger than me, like they're older than me, and vice versa, because of comedy, because they give you a reference and you go, you're 60 years old, you should not be talking to me in this manner. I should be talking to you in this manner. And vice versa, where I've had a 19-year-old talk to me and I've been going, age becomes irrelevant.
Age definitely becomes irrelevant after a while because, that is funniness, isn't it? It's like, how funny are you?
Absolute. That's all I give a shit about. How funny are you? And how nice are you? That's what I care about.
Exactly.
And there's enough comedians that you can limit yourself to just hanging out with those people, and that's what's brilliant about it. Sometimes people say they're going into comedy for just a hobby, and some people get a bit annoyed and go, "Don't take up the space." I sort of kind of recommend it sometimes because especially if that's the open mic scene's too many people anyway, it's always going to be like that from now on, I guess. But I always recommend it because I was struggling to meet people in London. Once my university had finished, I realised all my friends had been around university and my school friends had faded away slightly. So I was like, oh, fuck. How do you make friends in London?
Yeah, how do you actually interact with people? Because everyone's so closed.
Yeah, you need... Which is why Meetup has been so popular over the last few years, I think, as a rising thing, because it's a way you can go on a website and go, filter to things I'll like, so I know people probably like them. And so you go to comedy or you go to whatever. I did a gig once when I was in bands for a Rolling Stones tribute night, which was loads of different musicians doing Rolling Stones tribute night. And it was this group that booked all of the tickets for this tiny venue, 20 tickets or whatever. They booked all of them. So it became a private event. It wasn't listed as such, but they'd made it one. It was at Aces and Eights, do you know that place in Cambridge? Like a tiny little room.
Yeah, I think so,
Park station. It was a beautiful room, and we had this amazing night to these people, and we were like, it was interesting. There was we were looking at them, and they seemed to know each other, and there was people were starting to get off with each other in corners, and there was lots of animated things going on. And we couldn't work out what the dynamic was. We said, how do you all know each other? And they said, we've never met before, but we've been communicating on a Rolling Stones Appreciation Forum fan site for about a year and a half now. But and a couple of us have met, but none of us have met together. So they'd all made the trip to London to do this fucking thing, and it was a beautiful moment. That's how people come. They go on the internet and form little colonies now. Yeah, comedy's like that. It's like all the like-minded people just collect together, and they're all walks of life, and there are people from every country in the world and every sexual orientation and age. But you get on with them literally, and to the point where now I hang out with them so much that when I'm with people that aren't, I feel a bit out of the loop. I feel a bit uncomfortable.
What's the thing you found the hardest with comedy, like in life and comedy?
Setting out to write new material deliberately. I can't do it. I can only do it when I'm not thinking about it or when I don't need it.
the block, the fear of the page, the fear of the blank page sort of thing.
Weirdly, I sit down. I can write, not stand up, whenever I want to, to an okay standard. And I've been doing like a course on it, and I'm a bit more trained in writing, so I can sit down and go, right, I need to write a funny scene. I need to write a funny whatever, or sketch, and I can sort of do it. And I'm getting better at it, but I can't sit down and go, right, I'm going to write it has to be just an inspiration, and as soon as I want it, it never gets
runs away.
Yeah,
keeps moving away.
It's the evasive thing, you know. You get
the ether. God no, the fog is here again.
Yeah.
And did you did your degree in writing in English?
I'm in the middle of doing it. My degree was in fine art, but I'm doing a diploma.
Oh, fine art, good old. I fucking hate people in fine art.
Yeah, I did, to be honest.
I mean, no offense.
No,
but I fucking hated them. There was a guy. I took one fucking module in college, right, with doing fine art, and the guy came in and he had an Elvis fucking quiff. Nothing wrong with that, it's fine. Also had an Elvis ring, okay? And I was like, which is fine. The big, even had the collar. You wore a leather jacket, fine. I'm okay. I'm
fine with all of these things.
I was on board with this. This is going to be fun, right? This is going to be fun. And I was like, right, what are we doing? Okay. And then we saw a video that was basically a camera put down, filming nothing. And I was like, right, now write a 1,500 word essay on that.
Moving painting, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? This is not... And people get firsts in that, right? And you work... And I was like, I had one module, I passed it, just about, but I couldn't write anything on this thing. It's like, well, this is too obviously too formulaic. But that was the thing. And there was like other people who did their entire degree... Sorry, you like yourself. Who did their entire degree on fine art. I was like, oh my God! And I did my degree in video. Digital media.
That's great, because it's a skill.
It is, but like... It was fucking hard, man. They judged it so harshly.
It's subjective to a degree as well. Some
massively,
of it,
massively.
But with video editing, it's subjective. But there's certain objective elements to it where you can be marked on. You don't cut from that to that. You know that you don't go from close up to close up or whatever. I'm not sure of the different things, but there's rules, isn't there?
Of course.
Fine art is so blown open.
Yeah,
it's a fucking mindfuck, and it becomes basically. In the era of fine art that I did it was all in the shadow of Damien Hirst. And Damien Hirst's whole thing, really, and Tracy Emin and those kind of that era, was kind of this sense of blagging. They were from they were from products of the 80s where you could blag your way into things, and that was kind of what the art world became. It became a post-Duchamp universe where anything could be art. It became, what could you get away with selling for £1 million? Go on. I reckon a cow in formaldehyde. If I give it the appropriate title, I can sell that. And it was cynical and it was very ironic in a lot of ways. And as an art school, in the result after that, it became who could be the biggest pretentious douchebag and use the most complicated language to basically say nothing. Yeah. I hated it. Hated them a lot, and I found it really snobbish. And there's nothing more snobby than the fine art world. Because basically, the smaller your bubble that you're in, the snobbier you become. And it's why comedy actually is probably benefiting from having more people in it, because it's probably getting less snobby. Art bubble is so small. They are so snobby. They all revolve around Brick Lane, and every first Thursday of the month, whatever it is, they have this gallery day where they all converge on all the new artists, and they all stand in front of paintings and drink wine, and they never actually look around and take anything in. But it's all about who's seen where. It's fucking bullshit.
Pretentious bollocks.
It's all pretentious bollocks, man.
And that was the thing that fucked me off. Is like if you could back whatever it is you've created up with a load of bullshit, and you stand behind that bullshit so confidently and with such front, you're fine.
Absolutely.
And that fucked me off. I really did.
I don't give a shit about it. I think it's so anachronistic now. I take elements from it that I like from the past, but from modern senses, I don't think the fine art world has anything to contribute. I think the real big artistic things at the moment are obviously was film, and now I think it's these mini-series television things.
Yeah,
things like fucking Stranger Things or whatever, or True Detective, those kind of things. That's where art is being beautiful at the moment. Black Mirror.
Oh, great. Amazing.
Now that that's what painting was, or whatever,
It's storytelling, isn't it?
It's the best. It's the most. It's how art is basically something that is designed specifically to move you. That's its definition. It's designed to create some reaction in you, specific, and it's designed for that purpose and nothing else. And I think that has a wide range. I don't think that is that art. Just whatever gets you going. Comedy.
Where did you do your degree?
I did it in a place called it's London Met is the university. a college called the John Cass School of Art.
And you're doing your degree, something in writing now. Was it a degree as well?
Yeah, it's a diploma.
A diploma in writing.
In writing and producing TV and comedy for radio. Producing comedy for TV and radio, sorry.
Excellent. Is there a placement in that too?
It's not. It's like it's run by the National Film and Television School, who are in Beaconsfield, sorry. But it's in Soho, and they get 15 people a year, 60 people a year, 14 at the moment. And it's like a writer's room. You come every week on a Tuesday evening, and you sit in this room, and you have assignments every week, and everyone turns up, and you do table reads, discuss stuff. The guy that runs it is a guy called Bill Dare, who does. He is mainly a producer as well as a writer, but he's produced things like the Now Show and Den Rings is his, and that's all his stuff, and he writes those kind of things. He's a big radio guy. He used to do the week ending, so all of the sort of new comedians kind of know him. He's a bit of he was a gatekeeper for a while, very generous sort of man, because a lot of people leg ups in the industry. And he knows a lot of people as a result. People have come through who know him, and so he gets all these speakers in. So you get in, like, we had the commissioning editor of Sky Arts come in just to talk to us about what sort of things catch our eye these days, and what things and trends and ways to look out for what might be something that people might be interested in. And then, like, we got Jon Long coming in soon, things like that. So it's really good for that. But it took me ages to get on. It was my third year. It was my second year of attempting it, and I got on the reservation list.
Great.
And then 2 days before it started, someone dropped out, and I got a placement on it.
Yeah. Is it expensive?
It's a bit expensive, but it's worth it, I think.
It can really help shape the skills you're going to have, for writing your own sitcom. I mean, you want that guy's number, you want that guy's number on the speed dial, like, okay, well, what's in vogue now? Okay, great, thanks. Okay, right, yeah, okay, how about now?
It was a woman, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're awful.
What was the woman's name?
I'm terrible with names, I can't remember.
Oh, you probably remember it's a man, of course.
I remember every man's name I've ever met. Don't get me wrong. That's a different section of my brain. Do not delete.
Important, unimportant.
Yeah. I forget.
No,
my forgetfulness is incredibly communist, and it's all I forget everyone's name. Yeah. Yours is very good. Yours is quite memorable. I find names that are memorable and
it's connected to something that happens every year, of course.
Yeah, even your last name though is Winter Fernanda. It's a name that just sticks in my mind. Yeah,
for all the right reasons, of course.
Yeah, all the right reasons, because it's like it's an Irish guy with a kind of Dutch name and a kind of maybe hippie parents with the winter.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, none of those things.
But it paints that picture.
It's like, so I can pull back and reveal. Oh, who? Whoa, no, this isn't the person I was expecting.
Is it not Dutch?
It's Sri Lankan.
Oh, close.
Yeah,
oh no! Wait, hang on. Did the Dutch colonise?
Correct. They did. They certainly did. You're
there
right.
You go.
But it was So
I've heard Sri Lanka is gorgeous.
So yeah, I think it is.
Holiday
I've never been.
destination.
I've got my cousins are all over there.
Oh really?
So because my dad's from Sri Lanka, and I think my great grandfather was Dutch. Or something like that, and then so they
went over to colonise, and
then hey,
Dad came over to
hey locals, what's going on? Hey, let's share this gene pool.
Yeah, interracial orgies.
Let's.
We're having a great time.
They agreed on something.
Oh yeah, that's actually what led to Sri Lanka's independence. I'm sure. Just a post-coital little chat with some lover said to the ambassadorial fella, "Oh, go on, let us go, will you? If you love us, okay, that's how it's done. Pillow talk is the dismantling of the empire."
But so your family creative as well. Apart from your dad was in the Navy, but was he doing Navy in a creative way? He was like, hey, let's steer this. I can steer this shit with my foot. What?
There's no room for creativity in the Navy, sadly. But what's good is that I think he was a bit. No, he is. He's creative in his. He's business guy. So that's how we differ. But he's very creative in that world, I guess. He has his own business that he grew from kind of nothing, and he's done really well for himself. But it's management consultancy, which I have kind of two minds about. I don't really get it. I get it and I don't get it. I like the people, and I worked there for a time. Yeah, and they were lovely to me, and I was the worst employee ever, and they tolerated it. But gosh, I can't work out what they do. I think the good ones do add something, and they're all born out of accountancy, it seems. So all KPMG, all those management consultants used to be accountants. And they used to go chartered accountant, go into a company, break down, audit them, and go, okay, here's where you're leaking money, here, and here, and here, and they would go, brilliant, thank you, and they'll go, get rid of them, tighten that, do that. Very practical, and it still is that, but they've gone, just tart up the language a bit. And now they basically, they'll go in, they'll identify the problems, but then they'll also stick around and help them solve those problems.
Okay, yeah, they won't run away. See you later. Run off.
They won't. They'll go. If you want, we know how to. We've seen this before, and we know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
And what they essentially do is go in and use those people's own skills to fix it. So they'll go and facilitate, is the word they always use, and they'll go, right, so this is a problem, you guys all know how to fix this problem, you know this industry better than we do, let's solve it. And they're problem solvers.
Yeah.
But God, it's a wanky term. Lots of wanky terms in there, and and I just come out of art school and I was sick of wanky terms. I don't want wanky terms, and then it's got tons of wanky terms. So as much as I love the people, I had to get away from that. And comedy is pretty. I mean, you could use loads of wanky terms if you wanted to, but it's pretty basic. And it's kind of violent almost. You kill, you die, you bomb, you this, but it's clear and cut, and it doesn't feel excluding to me. It doesn't feel like people would come into that world and not know what the fuck you were talking about. I guess you could if you sat there and went, classic Paul Back and Real and all these. But I think people, even since now that Stuart Lee's existed, people know all the names of everything.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lack of snobbery. However, there is a type of comedian now who are getting reviewed as their artists. A lot of them are very good, but there is a lot of them who are, the way they conduct themselves, and I meet them, is exactly like the people in art school. They're snobby and they come around and they go, oh my god, I don't think he's even been to Gaudier at all. And I was thinking, I've changed my name now and I'm pretty cool. And it reminds me a lot of art school people, or the art world people, and I think that's dangerous for comedy. Comedy should be accessible, and rough around the edges, and I think it should be up for people, and they kind of try to make it elitist and tighten their bubble. You should never get the bubble small. I've always been the kind of comedian where, what's your ambition? My ambition is not like, oh, I really want to be respected in an Edinburgh show. I want to get an Edinburgh show where everyone is like, I want to be a comedian. I want to watch that film Comedian, Jerry Seinfeld. I want to go to clubs and make people have a nice Friday evening or Saturday evening or whatever evening. I want to make people.
The funniest I can be.
Funniest absolutely, the funniest I can be. If once I'm really, really funny and I've got it down, I can find a way to go, right, and I can also do something else with this. Brilliant. But I think you've got to just learn how to be funny first. Then play with the form. And you do it a bit on the way, and you make sure you're not just doing anything for you. You're like, oh, I'm going to be responsible for what I say. I'm not going to say anything that could be misconstrued or whatever. But at the same time, don't get fucking pretentious about it. And my comedy changes lives.
Has your old man come to see you perform?
Yeah, he's pretty enthusiastic. He used to come at the beginning, then I stopped him for a while. And then
you get on with him?
Yeah, really well. He lives near London, so it's good.
Great.
He comes to me quite a bit. He used to, less now. That's probably more me. So you don't have to come to us very often. He's seen me recently though. He's a big fan. He likes it a lot. In my musical comedy awards, when they announced the audience favourite first, and I won, I came out and he jumped up. He was quite drunk by this point, and he jumped up and down and started screaming, "That's my son!" And then no one was looking at me. I was looking at him. It was brilliant.
That's great.
It was brilliant, but it took all the pressure off me. Because then I just
he was like, "That's my dad."
The guy was like, "Oh, it's your dad." I was like, "No, I don't know him. I don't know who it is." No, he was very sweet. Afterwards, he was a bit over the top. Oh, no, it's fine. It was just very sweet.
Yeah, of course.
He just loves it. He's enthusiastic. He's a really enthusiastic guy. He gets enthusiastic about everything, and he was just like, "Yeah." But then what was interesting, then they had to stop, and then they had to announce the actual winners. And then go, third, Jon Long. That's fine.
You maybe lost me that one, Dad.
Second, first. They're not my sons, those ones.
But your sister, is she into comedy as well, or what
she likes it? She's very supportive as well. She's brilliant. She's in events. She's good at that. She's very much the opposite of me, in that she can collect her thoughts and be very together and be a person in a crisis you want who sorts everything out. So in those situations I would go to pieces. But so she loves that. She loves events and things. Fucking stressful. It's like planning a wedding every week.
Yeah, of course. That's it.
You just win for a wedding. That's something you only want to do once, maybe 4 or 5 times in your lifetime, isn't it? Max. After the 5th, you're like, I'm going to stop doing these, I think, because they're so hard. It's tricky, right?
Yeah, totally. At least 5 times. I mean, 5 times a charm, isn't it? That's it.
Well, yeah, But yeah, fucking hell, too much. I couldn't do it.
She could help you with contacts, though, right? With getting venues for your shows.
Maybe. Do you know what she'd be probably quite good for one day when I'm good enough to do that kind of work? Is that kind of, do you know that corporate work sometimes people do where they host like people's Christmas parties? Apparently it's very soul destroying, but paying very well. She organises a bunch of those, or she used to. Now she works for kind of one company, but maybe she could probably get me in those. But she wouldn't at the moment, because as much as she's very supportive, it is her job, and she would get like the party was great except for what your brother. Yeah. We asked for Alexander Armstrong, or Hal Cruttenden, or whoever.
And what's her name?
Natasha or Tasha.
Tasha Long as well.
Tasha Long.
What's your dad's name?
He's Mark Long.
Right.
My mum is now. God, what is her name now? She's Jill Smith.
Ah, right.
She's remarried, but she was Jill Long. Now my cousins. Let's start.
Any happeners like that?
I've got a stepbrother now.
Oh, right. Okay.
Joseph Downing. I have to remember his name because his name's different to his mum's name. It's got different names.
Complicated names again.
I'm really bad with names. I've got about 8 in my mind.
So you're taking a show to the Fringe.
I am
next year.
I'm going to.
What is it called?
It's going to be called Jon Long Winded.
Oh yeah.
And it's just.
There's a lot of wind in your sort of in your life. You've got Hurricane Katie. And you've got long-winded. There you go. That's nailed it. Same connections. I'm good at this.
Together. That's it. I didn't even think about that. We'll probably be bringing them up at the same time, so we can put them on either sides of the flyers together. 2 sides. Yeah. Mine's going to be
blow people away. Oh, bosh!
Exactly.
There you go.
That'll be the tag.
Yeah. Nice.
Both of these shows will blow you away.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Quote by Winter Phone Under.
Yeah. Because it's in fine print already, so even smaller fine print underneath it.
Yeah. The 3mm gap, just a bit, the bleed. Just put in the bleed there.
Yeah. You might get it. Some you'll see on some flyers, depending on where they cut it. That particular print.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's there next to when they do the little colours. Do you know, sometimes when you look at the carton, you can see where they've printed the test colours. It's there.
Okay, that's good. It's in there. Just I'll know it's in there. It's fine. I'll know.
The designers will see it.
Long-winded.
Jon Long-winded.
Any other gigs that are coming up of note?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Probably not. But I think the best thing to do is if you follow me on Twitter, then there's stuff on there, or I promote stuff on it, which is Jon Long Stand Up. I will also point out that Jon is Jon, because it's not so much a problem anymore, because the story has disappeared out of the news a bit. But there was a while this summer, right? It was in Edinburgh. I was in Edinburgh. This guy tweeted me and said, "Enjoyed the set last night. Went to Google you. Didn't realise it was Jon. Unlucky about your namesake," or something like that. And I went, "What the fuck?" So I googled Jon Long John, which is totally plausible that you would do that if you went, "Oh, that guy was good. What was his name? Jon Long Jon." That was the first spelling you'd choose. And that, if you type that in, it would come up with the first headline, which was convicted paedophile Jon Long accused of sexual assault of babies or whatever, and got off scot-free. He's a young guy. Thank God he didn't look anything like me. A mugshot. But the headline came up big. It's slowly coming down. You can still find it, but it's lower down the page now, so it's all right. But for a long time, I was really going on stage. I was going, "It's Jon, guys, Jon." Just you know.
Yeah. That's different. There's enough of that on the circuit. Well, there was. I mean, that's only just kind of subsided.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't want another Daily Mail article.
That's right.
Like, do you hear that, John? He's only got another fucking Russ, isn't he? You only got to rustle it up a bit.
Yeah, that's it. Rustling feathers.
Rustling feathers at the BBC. Yeah. Oh my god.
So yeah, we'll find you on Twitter and you're on Facebook and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Jon Long Stand Up. Jon Long Stand Up, and it's I do stuff on YouTube. I've got a thing. Actually, that is something I've got coming up that I'm excited about. Is that I did a gig at the Hastings Fringe last year. You might be able to appreciate it because it's my first foray properly into video editing. I've done a bit of video editing and stuff, but this is my magnus opus. Everything I've learned so far and gone way too far on it. But I've got this footage I paid for this. They did this gig and they said, "We can film it for you if you like." And I said, "Yeah, let's film it." Like for 50 quid. And I went, "Oh, okay." And then I saw their equipment. I thought, they look like they know what they're doing. They've got fancy equipment, which I think is probably something you should not do, because equipment, anyone can buy equipment, can't they? And what happened was they filmed it, and they were very lovely people, and they captured it all. But it was a weird gig because it was a pub and it was open, and the whole front was open because it was really sunny and it was on the water seafront pretty much. So people were just coming in and out, and there was a core group of people there, and it was good. It was a good gig, but it was a hard, weird one. and it was like my solo show, and it was also I still haven't finished it yet, so it was a bit up in the air. But it went really well. But the film of it was really odd because it was one camera angle, which was really good, which was one woman, and then this guy walking around with a really expensive looking camera on, and all of his cutaways, which is pretty much unusable because I guess he must have been shaking loads, and he'd gone to do like a shake steady thing. And you know how the sort of way they digitally, I guess, must do that is they must take the smallest square that doesn't get affected by the shake and clip that. Yeah. If you're shaking lots, then that square gets smaller and smaller. And by the time, if you're really shaky, they were all really zoomed in. And you know when something isn't on optical zoom, it's a digital zoom, and so it's just a pixely fucking
That's
mess.
horrible.
Looks gross, like zoomed in CCTV.
Yeah, yeah.
All the cutaways are like that, and it looked kind of weird. And I thought this is kind of unusable, and they cut it really oddly. And I thought the only way to make anything out of this is to kind of fuck around with it. So I put it in black and white, and I cut it up, and I made it look like aged film and all these things, and put it in weird angles and weird places. And then I've been filming these scenes in between of me editing them with scenes of my friends coming in and asking me about how it's going, and then there's a whole storyline with them as well. So I'm trying to make this something out of it.
Oh yeah.
And so I've got now, I think, and I've done a few different techniques. I thought about green screen. I have a green screen, but I was miles away, so I couldn't have access to it. But I wanted to do graphics, and I didn't know how to paint graphics. So I got this thing where you can paint on your iPad. So I just painted a green background and then painted words on it, and then filmed that when they show you how you've painted it, and then overlaid that, and so it like paints over it. So I've got a few things that made it look a bit more different and unusual. But it's whether or not, but I've been focused on it so much, I have no idea if it's good or brilliant or awful.
Which, that sounds interesting.
I'm excited to find out.
It sounds interesting to watch, though. That's your hour show, your full show, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the stand-up in it now, I mean, there'd probably be about 8 minutes of material in it. But it's about 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
But there's scenes, and there's different stuff going on, and it's like cutaways and a few other things, and I think it will be really good, but it might be a completely untenable mess.
No, I think it sounds fun. I mean, because it's going to be constantly breaking up. It's like, oh, I did a joke, and then it's like a little sitcom of your life sort of thing, isn't it? This is like, oh,
it's all my flatmates playing themselves, but they're playing them really harsh arsehole versions of themselves, and I'm like, what do you think about this? And they're going, you're doing that too much. You're fucking. That's pathetic. What you're doing there and all this stuff. And
that's great.
And
deprecating
talking about how boring I am.
That's great. That's
great. That. So it's hopefully that'll be good. I've still got this one scene, a couple of scenes I need to film probably for it. It's hard getting everyone together because Kate's just gone off to Stafford, so I might rewrite it. Her scene as a Skype conversation, and so I can actually get it done.
Yeah, but that would be fun too. And it's another medium to kind of add into it. So you make it just break it up rather than people keep coming into your room, and you have like even she's your girlfriend in the thing as well.
Yeah,
great. Well, that's wonderful. And then more judgment coming from there. It's like
she gets the final line, which is as they're leaving, and I think they just assured me it's brilliant. They leave me to go to the pub, and they don't tell me about it, and they're off in the corner, and I'm still doing it, and you just hear them laughing about me. Yeah. And one of them says, he's so boring, and then Katie gets the last line, which I think is something going like, oh, you think he's bad, you try going out with him, it's like dating Tim Edman. So she gets the final line. But she's so sweet, bless her. I gave her the script, and she went, I have to call you. I don't think you're boring.
Oh,
and I was
nice.
like, I know, but your character hates me, you see, and you've got to... My other flatmates were like, yeah, give me it. Alright.
Fine, As guys, aren't they? That's it, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hey, John, well, I think we're done, John, I think.
Well, thank you, Winter.
Well, John, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Jon Long.
Winter Fernando.
And that was Jon Long for episode 26. Jon Long, weaponized comedian, musical comedian. As I say, he's upgraded to a guitar now, so you better watch out. He's coming for you. Check his stuff out on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. He's there on Twitter, Jon Long Stand Up. Follow him. You'll find his gig dates. He's taking a show up to the Edinburgh Fringe called Long Winded. Check out his previews. Go see him in Edinburgh. Very funny guy. If you like this podcast, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at The Comedy Defect. If you want to follow me, it's at winterphonander. If you like this podcast and you want to donate to us, we're on Patreon. Just go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast, and donate as much or as little as you want. But if you can, kick something back. Just leave us a nice, honest review on iTunes or Podbean. It all helps, guys. It really does. I'm not going to say much more than that because this man flu, why do we have to prefix flu? Can't it just be just flu? Man flu. It's all about separating, isolating us. Just let's call it flu. Everyone suffers from it. It's flu, all right? Not man flu or woman flu. It doesn't matter. It's flu, okay? That's it. I've got the flu at the moment. So I'm not going to talk too much more. I'm just going to say that was episode 26 with Jon Long. Next week is episode 27 with very funny comic Declan Kennedy. Declan Kennedy has produced radio shows, loads of stuff for the BBC. He's a very funny guy as well. But that's all I'm going to say for this week. So it's next week, episode 27 with Declan Kennedy. We'll see you next time.